definition from ILO, these are the two key things, that that stands out. Um, the ILO Convention 102 and 128, and Recommendation 202 and 131 all serve as a reference justifying the need for access to income security and health, especially for the old age. You can refer to them and then do your readings since times of Athens. Equally important, the World Bank has also come with the definition of social protection or social security. But the key things, like I said, that stands out is access to health and income security. Basically, what we call life cycle risk. There's a risk of not being losing um, losing losing revenue that you used to get. Going further with the definition is I look at the players in the social security or social protection. Like I said, social security as a corporation is not the only player. And thank God I have to thank my board chairman for having the foresight to allow me to do this course. This table you see here is an assignment given to me, and I submitted it yesterday. So when this topic was given to me, I read the topic and I look at my assignment. It became easy for me. So it's just a matter of cutting my assignment, pasting here, because this is what I sent to my my lecturer. Showing the list of social protection players in the Gambia and the various schemes that they have. Social security, we have the pension scheme, the provident fund, and partly the IICF, but that is under the label. I even indicated them here. We just control the funds for them, but we don't do anything. That has to be clear, because people sometimes think, as in just commission, social security is delaying it. It's not us delaying it. They just have the funds bank with us. If they do all their due diligence, they just tell us pay, we pay. If they have the funds. Sometimes we don't have the funds, say we pay, we're not able to pay because they don't have the funds. But normally that really occurs, and since it is a portfolio and a sensitive thing, so we see how we cut corners to make sure that the beneficiaries don't suffer. But basically, these are the players in social protection, it's not audible. Sorry, I hope I'm very audible. If I'm not, please, you let me know. So basically, this is the list of social protection players in the Gambia. The PMO is part of it. Government, they're doing their own. The local government are also doing their own. And recently, most importantly, is the government itself, the National Health Insurance Scheme. They established the National Health Insurance Agency, the National Health Insurance Authority, to run the National Health Insurance Scheme. It is in progress. So all the others you will see focus on pensions and old age, but this one particular one by the government focus on health. The objective is health coverage for all. So coming down to social security coverage. So this is the statistics I just feel I should share with you. Although we are looking at the Gambia, but Gambia currently is not in isolation. I deem to bring the global figures in social protection. Like I said, in the table, you will see that all these players focus on old age, except in health insurance. Maternity and disability are all part of social protection, but they are not covered. Okay. And what I also observe is all of them are almost working in isolation, not necessarily coordinating efforts together. Looking at the statistics here, the pie chart, at the global level, the percentage of people who are above retirement age receiving pensions is 77.5% of all people at the global level. But you can see as a sharp contracts, in Africa we have only 27%, and in the advanced world you can see some are as high as 96, that is Europe and Central Asia. America is 88.1%, and Asia Pacific 73.5%. And in our own case, the Gambia, we are less than 10% of all people accessing pension benefits. And the answer to that would be because of the lack of inclusion. And I'll come to that. The previous speaker talked about informal sector. That is the key answer. So we have a long way to go. So the topic at hand, like I said, is the current situation of social security in the Gambia. To begin with, in the Gambia, we have leadership commitment and coordination. You see, in the field of social protection, whether it is the financing, whether it is the informal sector, whether it is digitalization, you need leadership commitment for you to succeed. And in the Gambia, we thank God, we are proud of ourselves that the current regime we have leadership commitment. If you refer to the National Development Plan, the NDP, the strategic priority number 4 is along those lines. It is indicated if the starting priority number 4 reads human capital development, health, education, and social protection. So in 2018, this idea was conceived by the new dispensation by the government, meaning that there is national commitment, there is executive commitment, leadership commitment, and where there is leadership commitment, success is very high. And the second manifestation to that is the leadership commitment is the coordination. That is the coming up of the National Social Protection Secretariat, currently organizing this international forum. I think I should have mentioned that today is indeed a memorable day in my life, not only speaking on this conference, but for the first time, speaking in an international conference organized by Gambia, by our own NSPS. I think I applaud them for this initiative. And we attend conferences all over the world. When I was in the airline industry, I used to attend IATA programs all over the world. So give people the same thing. But now, little did I know, my own country also be organizing and humble me with one of the speakers to this important forum. I think that's an achievement for the Gambia as a country. That is all because of the commitment and the leadership commitment that we enjoy. So NSSP's role is to serve as a coordinator. You know, I made mention of the fact that all of us we are operating in isolation. And if you talk to any other government, it's social protection, they say social security. But people don't know the others. But now NSP is here to fill that role, and I can attest that they really do it. They are really doing that. So going further, now I'll focus on social security as a corporation to analyze the situation of the social protection in the Gambia. At our level, we are expanding coverage to the formal sector because that's what is happening now in the Gambia. You can see that in the federal pension scheme, the total of new employees up to this September, the total number of employees is 17,000 registered. So we are doing a lot of expansion. We are expanding a lot of coverage within private schools across the country, you know, to encourage people to register with the Social Security. You can also see the Provident Fund, the National Provident Fund. National Provident Fund, up to September 2023, the total number stands as 157,084 employees. And of these, 4,950 are new registrations. So we're doing a lot of work along those lines. If you say pension scheme is usually run by the public sector. So the it is 100% paid by the employer. If you say provident fund, usually is the private sector that goes for provident fund, the banks and other private entities, whereby the employer contributes 10% and the employee contributes 5%. So it is a contributory scheme. While the pension scheme is non-contributory, the provident fund is a contributory scheme whereby both employer and employee contribute. So expansion, we are doing a lot of expansion, a lot of coverage, and you can see our Facebook. Our likes and followers was below 2,000 in 2022, but 6 months back we were able to register 3,000 extra likes and followers. So as we are talking now, we have 6,100 followers and about 6,000 likes. We are second to none but GPA, Program Post Authority, and we made we set up as a target. Come end of December, we'll be number one in the Gambia for our Facebook alerts. We conducted 50 seminars held in various institutions across the country. We hold regular meetings with our stakeholders. We do a lot of radio adverts using both print media and then audio. So basically, the point I'm making here is we are doing an aggressive sensitization because it's very sad for somebody to work all your life, 20, 30 years you are working. Only 4 years you go to Social Security, you realize you are not even registered. And sometimes these private organizations will open and close. By the time you go to Social Security, the company has already closed, it's no more in existence, and you realize you are not registered, nothing is paid for you. So that's why we deem it fitting to go very aggressive, on our sensitizations. You can see a manifestation of our staff. David is one shown here, he's a very dedicated staff, David, across the country. They just came from the provinces last week. Last weekend, they came from the provinces across the country. I think it was even in the national TV, GRTS, last week. It was aired. So, and all of you as our clients, our customers, what we want this war to go around is we want it to be a household name that makes so you are registered. Anywhere you are working, first employer, tell him, am I registered? Give me my number, make a follow-up. Because if you work until you retire, you retire and you don't have anything in your Social Security, that is very sad. So basically, as we are relating this thing to the topic in question, which is the current situation of Social Security in the Gambia, we are seeing that Social Security in particular and the Gambia at large are expanding Social Security coverage in the formal sector. The digitalization. The world is moving into IT now, and the Gambia cannot be left behind. We also working on the process of digitalizing our operations holistically. You can see the list. We call it SSMIS, Social Security Management Information System. We financial management system, Social Security management system, mortgage management system, human resource management system, electronic record management system, claims monitoring management system, customer relation management system. We are now going digital because manual is very inconvenient. So in order to reduce costs and time and enhance efficiency and effectiveness, we deem it fit to go digital. And by end of this year, inshallah, by come January, if Allah answers our prayers, we are very optimistic that we will be fully digital. You just sit at your corner, research yourself, or you will go at your corner, go to your portal, see your accounts, know your statement. So that's some of the benefits that are listed here. Registration currently is done through person-to-person interface, and it was some going and coming. But once we are digitalized, you sit at your corner, open the page. You don't need to talk to anybody. All what you will need will be shown to you. Just provide it in the system, and you are registered. Similarly, accounts management, that is your payment. You can pay online, very fast, and you can get access to your balances anytime. But the most important aspect here is the claim processing. That is the critical issue. Because this is where, when people retire, they want their money. You can imagine somebody who retire and sit for 2 months without money. It's really very inconvenient. Even before the SSMI has come into being, it used to take more than a month or so before somebody can get access to his money. So it became an issue. In 2023, during my time, I tasked the operational people to go what you call in business called business re-engineering. Because what I observe most of the time in the Gambia, our modus operandi is more administrative, it's more bureaucratic, towards that government, system. And in the modern world, like my lecturer will tell me, the difference between a manager, and then admin and management, how you call it. The fact that an admin manager will come and tell you that, okay, this bulb is faulty. He will write a memo to the MD to approve, go to the finance. Well, no. A manager will not tell you that. He will come and tell this is spoiled. He'll fix the bulb and then explain later. Because the customer doesn't care how you do it. Life has to go on. So based on that, we do some business re-engineering to cut down some unnecessary processes and tax ourselves to reduce the process claim time to less than 2 weeks, to 10 days specifically. But we didn't get that, but we achieved 13 days on average claim processing. And if we are fully digitalized, this is still manual. If we are digitalized, it could be done within a day or two. What we also do to reduce the inconvenience for the customers, sometimes, like I said, most employers will not pay for their employees. There will be a lot of gap. And if you are retired, you come to receive your claim, there are gaps. Social Security, the corporation must liaise with your employer to pay those monies. What you now improvise is, once you are retired, you come. Whatever is there for you, we give you that for the time being. Then both the corporation and you, the employee, will chase your employer to pay the balance. Those are some of the improvisations that we made to better the lives of our customers. So, like I said, currently in the Gambia, the social security system situation is that we are moving towards efficiency. Okay? I will look at our investments, our mandate, our issues. Social security as an entity, we invest. That's what we do. Invest the funds to get some returns, so that the fund owners will get something on top of their payments. And these are the key areas that we invest on. We invest on money markets, equity, and properties. But most of the time, investments are done on money markets, treasury bills, more especially bank term deposits. But the Gambia used to be a very nice country. Interest rates are very high. Once you invest your money, I understand that in those days, it is that BBW used to call the Gambia Single of Africa. Understand, some people, even in diaspora, smart ones will take their dollars, come to Gambia, invest in our bills 1 year, and then they recoup. Those smart ones were making more than even the ones they live in the US. Somebody, an old man, told me this techniques when I become MD Social Security. So those days we are sweet, but our time we are unlucky. When I was assuming the mantle of discipline in Social Security, interest rates are as low as 1%. In fact, banks are not even taking our monies. Monies were lying down there just like that. So that means you have to go into creative financing. So what I devise, in terms of war or in recession, from little I know in finance, corporations invest in gold, diamonds, and stuff like that. In the Gambia, we don't have gold, but we have land. So we took advantage. Wherever you see possible, we buy cheap, very cheap indeed. And then anytime you want to liquidate it, instantly you get returns more than you can get from any bank. Okay, and we also have our housing component, which has been dormant for some time now, and there's a lot of cry from the public for us that they need to go into housing. Although we will not make it, we will make it on purely on profit basis because we are in business, but it's going to be easier and more friendly than the private sector who are ripping people off with their estates. Added to that also, we are consolidating our grip on our subsidiaries. You have equity, we have equity, we have properties. Some of our key properties are Ozone Bay Hotel, GTSC is a transport company, GTSC, Ozone Bay, Trust Bank, Feed Industry, Gam Petroleum. And we are trying to make them more efficient, more profitable for the phone owners. Like, for instance, Ozone Bay recently has been awarded for the past consecutive 2 years as the best hotel in the Gambia by the UK Travel Advisor, the biggest platform, rating platform to rate hotels worldwide. And our Ozone Bay is among the first 10% of the world hotels, as I'm talking to you now. Even recently, we received a message that in the country is next to Combo Beach, customer friendliness, Ozone Bay. So I invite all of you to go to Ozone Bay and see for yourselves. Seeing is believing. In fact, I even told the general manager, we should plan to turn Ozone Bay into a brand name. But the only brand name I knew when I was young was Novotel. I recently started, but it's like a dead place. I don't know why we can't get our own brand name. I have it's a crazy idea, but I have in my mind that why can't a Gambian hotel catapult into a brand name in future? And I think now we are on track. We have our GTSC. You've seen that across the country, because in any country you have some facilities that must happen before you develop, and communication is one of them. Europe is developed not out of the blue. Internal communication is one of the key factors for their development. Even if you do history or level, you realize that the Savannah region had more empires, grew faster than the rainforest because of the communication, the ease of movement. So this is given. So we've covered the whole country, GTSC. We maintain our dominance in the transport sector. We across there's no part in this country now where GTSC doesn't go. And recently I told the GM, we start the provinces effectively now. It's good, but I'm promising you within a short period you realize that you'll get more profit from the provinces and in the capital. And it's proven now. But all you need is just instigate. Once you instigate them, they get used to it. The scene is believing. Now people are taking agricultural stuff all the way from Basi the same day, go to a garden, cut it off. The same day, put in these big containers, bring it to Banjul the same day, sell it. So it's always spill over. So our role as a social partisan organization is not just to make the small money. No, you also create for yourself the necessary critical mass for you to excel. So the GTS, as I'm talking to you now, holds the latest brand of the Asoglilan Freedom Fleet. The latest and the most comfortable worldwide. In fact, we name it Kairaba because we wanted to instigate for some intellectual property rights, so that it is Gambian. Anybody who copy, we can take you to court. As of Leland, as we are working with them, we named them the Kojis Kairaba. Our neighbors were ahead of us. The Kojis are more comfortable. We are competing. We are cooperating and competing too. We're working closely. But I remember some time back, Gambians want to join the Senegalese bosses because they feel it's more comfortable. And I told the GM, but how did that happen? He told me actually this brand of bosses was forced requested by the Gambia. Sierra Leone followed, Senegal followed, and they followed suit. I said, now that is good. Now we started it. Senegal came and then they union for the same comfortable bosses and they call it Taranga. I said, no, we have to revise the tide. We are the leader. We have to maintain our leadership position. Now we'll go to Asok and tell them that this same brand that we requested, now we want to increase, we want to add value to it and call it Kairaba. We added value, we call it Kairaba. Guess what? When these bosses came, they passed through our neighbors. It took us over 1 week before we can clear them from the airport. So anyway, that is for you. And our trust bank, our own trust bank, is a complete local. One thing I like about trust bank is it's a whole local affair. It's a local bank. But I'm telling you, compliance-wise, is the top in the country against all these international banks. Compliance not only on GRA, GRA has the second most compliant, not only taxes. But I'm telling you, on anti-crime, compliance level, they are the best in industry. They got 23 officers certified, on compliance on that areas, and even have 2 more staff who are doing the advanced level in the country. We are number 1, all local affair. So social security, we are not relenting. Our assets, our subsidiaries, we are bringing them together to make them more profitable and more efficient. With that said, now, in the Gambia again, we are moving towards inclusion. The first speaker spoke about informal sector. When I became MD Social Security, I traveled to Morocco for the first time with my director, Per, he's here with me. I attended similar conferences in social security. So through those interactions, I have an informal sector. So it interests me. Say, what is informal sector? And they explained to me. So I formed links with some officers. You can see definition of social protection by the ILO. It's a human right. The convention says that a social protection is a human right. So this is because life security is not only limited to the formal sector. In the Gambia, social security is focused on only the formal sector. And that explains why, our coverage is below the advanced world, as indicated in the table below. In high income countries, the coverage for pension retirement age is 97%, but low it is 23%, and the Gambia is less than 10%. So now we have tacked ourselves to venture into informal sector. I remember in my days in Bakau when I was going to high school, when there is a traditional festival, like sometimes they'll invite Jaliba Kati and stuff like that, I was going to school. You'll see a big basin full of money. The market women, the gardeners. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of money. Sometimes you wish you are also a Jaliba so that you can get you can get that type of money, just like that. But what comes to mind now, they are exposed to life cycle risk. When there's climate change, they don't get produce from their gardens. Or COVID was it's an eye-opener, in fact, for everybody. How would they survive? Most of those people are the breadwinners of their families. So for too long, we have ignored the informal sector. So social security, we deem it fit to venture into informal sector. We didn't know the know-how. We don't have the know-how, not the technical, and that encouraged me to go to Turin. September to the 2 course in social protection. I met with some of your NSP staff there. It paid dividend. Now I actually know how to at least I get a very good idea on informal sector. We have set up a committee to work on informal sector. I'm proud to say that although the NSPS, I commend them for the leadership role, but there was one time they called for a meeting and my people went to represent us, and the topic was informal sector. When they get there, my people told them, well, this is good, but we are already ahead. We already just come from Zambia on a study tour, and we are doing a report to start a project committee to informal sector. So I commend them for that leadership, but we are not waiting for anybody. We are on top of our game, and we will continue We don't have the know-how. What we are doing now, we are studying how to enroll it. And we are also open to support. I'm working on some Senegalese counterparts who I met in Turin in September. They are rolling it out. They got some support from international organizations. I'm working with them to help me connect us to them so that we can also take the same route. But it's for both NSP, Social Security, and the Gambia at large to know that this is something that we need, and we are committed to do it. And it's not a one-man, so we all need to come together to see how do you roll it out. But it's important we go into the informal sector. You have a lot of taxi drivers, you have a lot of market women, you have a lot of gardeners, you have a lot of tradespeople. They are not covered. The informal sector is one of the hottest cakes that come out after the COVID-19. So that means that, to come back to the question, the situation of social security in the Gambia, we are saying that in the Gambia, now we are working towards inclusion. Informal sector is one of it. And the second aspect is gender sensitivity. Social security, we are now working on our act. And there was a time in the act, currently in the act, if a lady retire on marriage grounds, below working less than 10 years, below a certain age, she will not be entitled to pension. And that is being reviewed now. Even if you are below the retirement age, if you retire on marriage grounds, you'll be entitled to pension. So like I said, Social Security in particular and the Gambia at large are working towards inclusion, backed by the two evidences, to join towards informal sector and then the gender sensitivity. International recognition. We are also moving towards international recognition. The Corporation of Social Security in particular, like I said, is a member of the ISA Bureau. My humble self here happened to be a member of the ISA Bureau. I think there was only one time we happened to be, when that was during Papa Silva's time, 25 years back. Now the corporation, my humble self, a member of the ISA Bureau, not only a member of the ISA Bureau, also a member of the Constitutional Review Committee, mandated to review the ISA Constitution. Our first meeting is scheduled for the 29th of this month. We also serve as a reference and a benchmark for sister organizations. While I was in Turin, during our presentation, I talked about our Project 59. Project 59 is a project that Social Security conceived to help ease the claim process, whereby all employees at the age of 59 will contact their employers to complete their biodata and all the necessary nitty-gritties, so that before they retire to the age of 60, all their paperwork is done perfectly. Once they put up their claim, they get their money. And when I made this relation, even Nigeria, my colleague in Nigeria was following me to show them how we do it, to learn from us. And Sierra Leone was just from, I think Freedom came here, when was it? Was it last month, 2 months back? We are here to study our Project 59, and they are now being benefiting more than us. We are also now debating. We are also working on it very hard now. So like I said, the Social Security in particular and the Gambia at large is getting recognition at the international level. You know, the ISA Bureau is the administrative body of the ISA. You have the council, and you have the other three. There are 4 bodies, but the ISA Bureau is the administrative body of the organization, International Social Security Association. We have some challenges are of course very, very eminent. One of them is legal barriers. Legal barriers to social protection. While in Turin during the course, I observed that our constitution did not capture informal sector. While I was doing barriers, if you do social protection as a course, you learn also the barriers that you are faced with, which could be legal, financial, sensitivity. And I understand, then I come to discover that in the Gambia, our constitution, our act did not cover informal sector. In fact, while I was even there, not even the formal sector, while I was there, I received a mail from my people to look at the activity report to send to the National Assembly. Luckily, I was in class and I opened this thing. And I laughed because what I see there, our mandate is more geared towards investment in social protection. So I observed that during that course. That's why I have to commend my chairman, Reme Joyner, for allowing me to improve my skills in protocols. I never worked in security before. I was in the airline industry. I was at the seaport, from seaport to the airport, up to the deputy MD, acting MD, then procurement, now social security. So I told him I want to have some skills in social security, and he allowed me. I did a course in Turin, and I'm doing an online course now, but it's paying dividend. But I was able to detect that, in fact, we need to be a hybrid, because there are two ends. You have the financial aspect, you have the social protection aspect, and as a social protection, entity, you have to be a hybrid. Finance is important, but the social content also matters. So those are things that I'm looking at now, but I'm not in haste for the act, because informal sector will take a year, 2 or 3 years before you roll it out. So I will not touch the act now. Before we get there now, we look at the act totally together with you. So some of the barriers we also face is delay in registration by some employers. These are normal delays that you and I have to work on. The employee must help us here. The employee must make sure their employers register them. And this is always a problem that we face. We also, the another challenge we face is low level of literacy in the country. But we are definitely gradually managing with it. But it's a challenge. One of the guys the previous speakers, somebody asked a question about IT in schools. I was laughing because he hit the nail on the head. It's a challenge for us. So it is food for thought to everybody. Contribution gaps, like I see, still on the employers, because they don't want to pay. I don't know why. So there are always gaps. But once we are automated, it will become easy for us to know who is paying, who is not paying instantly, and then we will do our best. Although we don't have much legal instrument to enforce, but my board chairman is trying to work with the National Assembly to see how do we put on some measures, to ensure that these things are overcome. Just like the GPPA, you cannot get any business if you don't get GPA registration. So from there, I want to introduce similar concept to the social security also, so that there are some measures that will force people to comply with registration. So limited investment opportunities is also another one, yes, because all we had before was investing in bank terms, and now that is an issue. But we are creative. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that we now have to overcome, and we'll overcome it. We are doing some creative financing. So with that, I thank you very much. I'm a novice in social protection, but if I have any questions, I'll be here to answer, and my colleagues are here to help me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, MD. Is it MD?
Madam.
General
Salum,
Managing Director.
Good.
We are sorry that today time is our challenge, but the presentation was great, and then I can feel it from the hall. And we say a big thank you to you for honoring our invitation. And then thank you so much for also accepting the delay and then present as was expected. Please give him another round of applause. We now invite some few questions. Now the time, you manage it for yourself. Lunch is served. If you want, we stay here till 3. Okay. Questions? Okay, 1. Another question? 2, 3. Finish?
Thank you very much, Mr. MD. Indeed, that was quite insightful. I think we've learned a lot. But you have also opened a lot of windows, for us to learn more. When we talk about claims, readily access to claims, I don't know how you coined it, But I would want to know whether the timing of access to claims really has something to do with administrative issues as you discussed, or, I mean, liquidity of the institution. When I talk about liquidity here, I'm talking about readily access to funds. Yes, you may have 100 million with Trust Bank. I mean, you may have 100 million somewhere else in the money market. But how easy is it for the institution to access those funds to attend to its claims? That is my first question. In other words, what I am asking, in the event the Social Security is regulated, is there a benchmark on the level of liquid funds that should be maintained for them to attend to their claims readily? Number two, at the very end here, you talk about, if my memory serves me, limited investment opportunities from the domestic front. You correct me if I am wrong. Again, one would want to know if regulation allows you parameters of investment. Where can I go? Where can't I go? Even at the domestic front in here. Because there are times when, I mean, you look at investments in government paper. A lot of funds lying there in your bonds. You talk about bonds here. You talk about treasury bills. I mean, why can't investments go into agriculture, mechanized agriculture, for instance? Yes, in this country, we cannot predict the weather. So it's going to be very risky to take your funds to agriculture from the point of unpredictability of the weather. But what about mechanized agriculture, for instance? You will, I mean, we cannot run away from terms to say it is because it is long term. Because the bonds you talk about here are also long term. These are the questions I have. Time will not allow me to say all I want to say. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So I'll give it to 3 and then 2. Who is 2? Oh, no, here. Somebody raised the hand here. No, you, I did not count you. You want me to give you a number? No problem. Okay, I'll give you 4.
Yes. Thank you, MD. My name is Aissatou Dramé. I'm from the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. As you mentioned, we are in a digital world. And you did mention of HR management system. How do you do shortlisting and job advertisement at the Social Security? Thank you.
Okay, I give it to 4 and then come back to 2. Sorry, so that I finish this area.
Yeah, very good, interesting. It's like the window of opportunities that Social Security was able to open to establish our own local bank like the Trust Bank, which is a commercial bank. And looking at our country, where you can hardly see any investment bank, what are the line of thinkings in terms of coming up with an important idea like creating an investment bank in this country? Because no country can develop in the absence of an investment bank. Commercial banks are here to make profit. They give you loan with short-term interest and then with high interest rate. That in fact increases our poverty level. To salvage the economic situation of this country, what are the line of thinkings in relation to an investment bank?
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, good afternoon, MD. My name is Modunja from DCD Banjul. You talk of housing schemes, affordable housing scheme for Gambians. How affordable are housing schemes in the Gambia, and who at least made it for? Because we understand that most of these properties you are building, formerly I think that you build houses, ready-made houses, and give to the Gambians, and they pay at their own through agreements, or are you only giving out loans now? Because I don't understand now. Apart from the housing scheme in Bakoti and then the Burusubi, I don't see any other housing scheme that you already build house and give it to people. So you want to understand how affordable housing scheme do you build and for who? It is for the privileged poor, or it is for the poor or the special few. So I want to understand that. And the other thing is like for agricultural investment, like there are so many private farms in the Gambia that are doing well. How can you think about building state farms in every region? At least you build a state farm that can create employment and also can create available products for Gambians. And apart from production also, we can add value. I think that line is also going to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, MD. I want to congratulate you for a very, very brilliant and comprehensive presentation. Indeed, I think quite a lot of us have learned a lot as far as the mandate of Social Security is concerned, and that you were able to outline it very simply, even to the layman. And I think that is a great step in the right direction, because the issue of Social Security is a very complex and technical area. And we would like to also congratulate you for, being a fast learner, because you've already highlighted that your background was not Social Security. You started from ports, you went to airline, then from airline to procurement now to Social Security. But the way and manner that you handle the presentation, I think attests to the fact that you are a fast learner. And I will join people to congratulate you on that achievement, which is very, very important, because fast learning is also another very, very important milestone for somebody to significantly make a huge difference. The issue of your subsidiaries, specifically here, the GTSC, you have highlighted the immense role that they are doing in terms of transportation in this country. And I think everybody, especially with this increased number of new fleet of buses that are applying our routes, countrywide, I think that is also kind of improving our social protection in many ways. So for me, the question that I want to ask is the subsidiaries that you have, what is their level of corporate social responsibility? Because since yesterday, we've been talking about the role of corporate social responsibility in terms of improving social protection. So, for example, the Ozone Bay, the GTSC, and other subsidiaries that you have. Then the issue of digitalization also, you've really talked about it, and the role of digitalization now, we know it, because we are in an IT world, and if an organization is embracing that, I think that is a step in the right direction. And also, considering your age also, I think that also gives you an advantage to put more emphasis on the issue of digitalization, because it's a significant investment that will pay off very, very well. So I don't know whether the ambition that you have in terms of digitalization will be achieved in so short a period of time. But I know that it will really, really make a huge difference. Because you talk about the fact that most organizations now, most sister institutions are coming from the sub-region to come and understudy you. So that means that things are working very well. So we want to encourage you and keep it up. The other thing is that at the level of Social Security, I stand to be corrected, but maybe you may be the youngest managing director that has been appointed to that position. So, which means that a lot is still expected of you at this at that age, to bring a lot of massive transformation for the benefit of all of us. So, thank you so much. Yes. I'm also very proud because we were in the same university, so I'm very proud to see him. You know.
So I'll take the last one. All right. Thank you so much. MD, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very good questions. I will hope I'm full enough to answer all of them, because I think I'm hungry by now. Thank you. No, ma'am. Okay, the first question, access to funds to pay claims. My brother down there was asking. Yes, that is a simple thing. Every finance person knows how much to keep in your till. That's a simple statement. At any time, if you knock on doors, instant you get your money. That's not a problem. That's portfolio management. And in our term deposit, you can even choose to call them on the same day, even though you deposit. It doesn't mean you cannot get access to it. But that liquidity is not an issue. Anytime you want your money, you get it. You have actual variation that we do every 3 years. That shows how how covered are you, your assets and your liabilities. So that's not an issue. Okay, your liquidity ratios you must be monitoring your liquidity ratios. So we don't have an issue with liquidity as far as we are concerned. Limited investments, risk. Yes, investments are not limited as such, but these are funds that belong to people, and you have to look at the risk return trade-off. These are people's lifelong life savings, whatever we call it. So where you put it, you must look at it cautiously. If you run your numbers, it's not a viable thing. You will not go in for it. Okay. Agric investments, yes, it's good for the country. But you see, even in countries that goes into this thing, it's not done by an entity alone. Government has to play a key role in it. If you know that some of the areas that we invested in and we still getting some issues, you will understand why we are not going to that. It's very important for the country, but this money belongs to people also. So where we are going to put it, you have to learn, like I said, look at the risk return trade-off. For those things happening, it's not social security alone. That has to be a concerted effort, both the government and social security. Okay? That is why we are skeptical of venture into agriculture. We don't have the expertise, and it asks for a lot of, it's a huge investment. So that's too risky to put people's money into just like that. Okay, I come to digital world. Job, the lady here was asking about job listing. Like I said, any HR person, what is HRIS? HRS sponsors are known. We are going digital. Once we go digital, whatever is happening in the HRS system will happen in social security. So that's the answer to your question. Investment bank. Somebody talks about an investment bank. Yes, investment bank is important. But I know social security went into home finance, and it failed. The time I came as MD, it was liquidated. So I can't go in detail why I didn't go into, but I know if it were viable and lucrative, they'll definitely go in for it. So that, like I said, also cannot be only social security. Investment banks has to get some national, some government, in intervention. But it is meant to stimulate the economy. Okay. Going to the housing scheme, somebody was talking about housing scheme. Yes, it's a long time we didn't have any housing schemes after Bulsi Jabang and Tujereng for the past 10 years also. But we are working on it. We are working on it. We have acquired some lands. One at Mandina Ba, Gunju. That's like I say in my statement that investing on land. I wrote a 1-year report. You can find it there. Social Security. We bought a lot of land and we are incubating them, preparing them so that we don't expect the Jabang experience doesn't come again. Prepare them better. But we are sure you will provide land to Gambia, to needy Gambians. But it has to be on win-win situation because we are in business. We are investing people's funds. So you have to make some returns on them. Okay? State firms. What was the other question? State firms. Okay, investment. Somebody also talk about limited investment opportunities. Yes, they are not that limited, but because of the risk. And we are not only looking at the money. Recently, two of my people came from Dhaka to go and look at some of the properties there that we can invest on. Those 3 days back, to get access to foreign currency. So we are going beyond the Gambia. We are looking at areas that we can invest on. But it has to be thoroughly looked at. We run the numbers to make sure that once you go in for it, it's going to be, it's going to be a viable investment. Somebody also asked about our subsidiaries and the transformation approach of social security as a leader. Yes, our subsidiaries are created as private organizations. But public entities cannot be good business people. Because in business, command and control is not a friend of business. You are subject to a lot of bureaucracies here, National Assembly here, activity report here. Let's say Gamtel and Official. Official, when they want something, it takes them just 1 hour to get it. Gamtel has to go to all these procedures, EPE, National Assembly, audit here and there. You don't need a consultant to tell them why they fail. Because business and command control, they don't tie. You don't need it. So as you could create these subsidies as private limited companies to give them the flexibility to run as a business. That's why me as MD, if you come and tell me GDS, I say go and talk to the GM. He's the manager. All I know for me is my money. At the end of the year, how much is he paying into me? He should make profit. How you do is his business this way. Ozonbe also, that's why they are here. I made sure nobody disturbs them. I don't even care how they do it. I say just make sure you're within the rules. You see? So corporate social responsibility on their part will depend on their management. I don't interfere in that one because they are not like a public enterprise we are talking. They are created to make money for the phone owners. Okay? So they must have their CSR, yes, but not like Social Security or ports will do. These ones are separate business entities. The transport approach you talk about, Mr. Kwanta talked about the transformation, yes. Like I said, I wrote a one-year report, my office. I started in June and July this year, I wrote a report, one-year report. Purely what I think in my mind, as the minister, I did not do the normal thing they are doing, activity, challenges, success, no. I simply wrote what I think should be, and I'm doing them. Am I right or wrong? Advise me. And some of those includes, like we are talking about, the social security family concept. Social security is having a bank, the best bank in the country, the best transport industry, the best hotel, and GFI is also coming. All, they don't know each other. I call them to a meeting. The MD and the MD, all of them, I say, do you know each other? They don't know each other. I say, what is funny now? You all go to social security, you don't even know each other. So I'm bringing the concept of what you call holding company subsidiary concept. It cannot be that perfectly by virtue of legal issues, but that concept what I'm bringing now, so that we patronize each other. One, we work synergy together for the common good. Now, if you want, if you want any program, all of you go to Ozonbe. It's our hotel. If you want transport service, you go to GDSC. You see, that synergy is what we are is what we are doing. So I brought them together, but they have to compete. Even if you want me to patronize you, you have to compete. Yes. So because all I care at the end of the day is what you are bringing to me. So that's one concept that I'm bringing is new for the first time in social security. And I also perceive to turn the housing department into a company. Because you have qualified engineers there. They will sit for 5, 10 years, no project. What are you doing there? Turn them into a subsidiary company, private company. They will monopolize all our housing is what we are doing. For them free, they monopolize it. Okay? And also they'll also vie for other contracts, just like other big construction companies. I was at GVV. I know how much money these contractors are making, contract they are getting. And they are no more qualified than Social Security Housing Department. They are already a cost center. And Social Security is a portfolio. We have the housing fund, we have the provident fund separate, the person fund separate, the housing was separate. So in portfolio management, you do not allow another, business to eat into the order. It's like what happened in the BCG in analysis matrix. You have the problem child, professor would say problem child. You have the star, you have the cash cow, you have the dog. Each of these pieces will be at a different stage. So if you don't manage it properly, you realize that one of the funds you don't fit in all the others. So to avoid that, you have to make it stand on their own so that your cost and your revenue come from you. So we are doing that at also another initiative that we are doing to try to sieve off the housing department into a society of its own. We also looking at venturing into lunch. They say lunch is here. Finally, we are venturing into medicine also. We know some scanners are scarce in the country. People go to Senegal frequently. So my director of operations discussed with me this issue. I say we are now looking at the possibility of looking at scanners that are very much needed in the country, and they are missing. I think we can venture into that, invest in it for returns. So I say a host of things that we are doing now, but if you get access to my 1-year report, you can see some of the small things I'm bringing. Thank you very much, and I'm happy.
Thank you so much, MD. And then this brought us to the end of this particular presentation. Yeah, so we have to break for lunch and then